Hello, sports fan. This is Steven here with Sports Trades Plus. I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. I'm going to be covering the ESPN Top 10 Executives, Coaches, and Scouts ranking of the top 10 edge rushers for 2025. Before I get right into that, I want to make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you know all the updates and all the breakdowns. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The list starts out with Jared Verse. Let's just talk about number 10. For the Los Angeles Rams, the guy is a premier pass rusher. Even though his sack numbers don't add up to what the pressures do, you're looking at a guy that not only dominates when he is on the field, he allows the rest of his Rams teammates to eat, and they take full advantage of that. When they're in games where they need a stop, they need a big quarterback sack, or they need a big pressure, Jared Verse seems to do it. When you're looking at overall the scale of the defensive ends and the defensive tackles, you're looking at guys that are quick, guys that have good size to them, and at 24 years old, he's premier for both. The elevation of his group that's on the field with him, he does that every time he plays, and he pops out on the film. Even when he's doing chase down tackles, even when he's doing tackles for loss, he's doing what he needs to do. The swim move, the power moves, the anchor moves, it's all there. And that's why he's number 10 at this list. Number 9 and number 8 are on the same team. I'm talking about Danielle Hunter, and I'm also talking about Will Anderson Jr. Will Anderson Jr. has not only come into the league and became a wrecking ball at the defensive end position, but also linebacker position. Danielle Hunter has been doing the same thing in Minnesota as he's doing in Houston. You think of the length that both these guys have, the ability to get off the ball fast, the ability to recover when they are beat, and also the ability to beat double teams when they do arise. Both these guys are something crazy, and you got to think the Houston Texans defense has two anchors on one left side, one right side, and these are cornerstones that they can build their defense on for the next couple of years. Danielle Hunter is a little bit older at 30, and Will Anderson Jr. is a little younger at 23, but both these guys are standout picks. When you think about overall what C.J. Stroud means to the roster, he could be the heart, but the soul of them are these two guys. When they get active and they get going, it's like a hornet's nest. You get one riled up, and then the rest of them start to get riled up. They dominate the possession of time as far as getting back on the field. And I think that they both are gifted enough to get to the quarterback to where 10-plus sacks apiece. Both these guys thrive in this defense. Both these guys are not only hungry for more, but you see it in their play. They pop out on the screen all the time that they're on there. They create mismatches, they create havoc, and they create off balance when they're playing offensive teams that essentially don't have enough offensive linemen to block them. So these two at 9 and 8, they're definitely there. This guy missed a lot of time last season, and you could see it noticeably on paper and on the actual game day film. Aiden Hutchinson means so much to the Lions' defensive tackle and defensive end area that when you're looking at him, he's the motor of this team. He's the heart and soul of the defense, and he's the effort guy. And you're thinking about somebody that's continuously pumping up the crowd, somebody continuously calling out the plays. It's rare that a defensive end is like the quarterback of the defense is usually the linebacker or either the safety. But when he comes onto the scene, he's phenomenal with his effort. He's phenomenal. He led the NFL in sacks before he got hurt. And you got to think about this. Right before that 5-game little swing, he was the defender that everybody was talking about. He was in the top 5 rating of everything. He was up there with Watt. He was up there with Garrett. And, he just got hurt. It's one of those tough things that when you get hurt, you got to sit out, and unfortunately, a broken leg was what he had to sit out for. But overall, the Detroit Lions have one of the best premier pass rushers in the NFL. He's dominant. He's scary. Even though he's undersized, he still gets the job done. He doesn't fear going up against the best running backs in the NFL. He doesn't fear going up against the best linemen in the NFL. So that's why Aiden Hutchinson is on this list, the motor for Detroit. Coming in number 6, I don't know if he'll play for them again, but we're talking about Trey Hendrickson. The contract situation with the Cincinnati Bengals has been disgusting. We've seen that, they've had their issues back and forth publicly and privately about getting a contract done, but he led that defense and carried that defense all year long. When you think about the NFL sack leader, that's who that is. He literally didn't have no help. It was Joe Burrow in the offense, and it was Trey Hendrickson by himself on defense. So that just goes to show you a guy in his production, his dominance. He was the only reason why the Bengals got off the field last year, and he made a lot of plays getting to the quarterback. He was relentless, and he made the Pro Bowl and also an All-Pro berth. That's why he's on this list at this number 6. They got it right. Nick Bosa coming in at number 5 for the 49ers. when you think of up and down seasons, when you think about being nicked up and hurt, he's been kind of in between the last couple of years. But Nick Bosa is one thing. He's dominant. When he gets into that stance and he starts to move around from one side to the next, you're seeing Nick Bosa dominate on either side of the ball he goes to. I think that, when he's attacking and he's being aggressive, there's not too many offensive tackles that can stop him. He can move inside. He can do outside. The difference of the 49ers, they have a wealth of defensive tackles and defensive ends that they can rotate, that they can move up and down the line, and that's where he does it. He passes the eye test all the time, and you got to think, 19 sacks over the last 2 seasons, that may not be the greatest production, but he's getting to the quarterback at an outstanding clip. He comes in a variety of ways as far as the bull rush, spin moves. You see it on tape where he's literally pushing linemen out the way, hitting spin moves, hitting them out the way. He's giving consistency and effort in each and every one of his appearances, and that since 2021, he's been one of those guys that gets the sack totals up there. Coming in number 4, Max Crosby. You know what he's about. He's the heart and soul of the Raiders defense. He's the talker. He's the shit talker of the team. And essentially, he holds people accountable. He's going to be a part of the resurgence for the Raiders coming up. I'm excited for him to actually have a team that's going to possibly make the playoffs, so you can see Mad Max in action in the playoffs. When you can see him going up against the best offensive lineman in the AFC West. I think that when it's all said and done, he's a skilled pass rusher that has a speed blitz, that has the motor and relentless to get past offensive tackles and guards, and he has a little nasty streak to him. He'll talk shit to you while he beats you. So that's why I like Mad Max Crosby on this list. Now it gets a little intense. We get to number 3. I think he needs to stay off the podcast more and focus really on the football field. I'm talking about Micah Parsons. He's talented in what he does. He's very confident, very arrogant, but at the same time, he produces. When he's right and he's getting to the quarterback, there's almost nobody that can stop him. When he's hitting those spin moves and he's doing the speed rushes, there's almost nobody that can get to him. He has a skill set of a hybrid, and he can do everything from pass rush, bull rush, a little bit of everything. And it's just overall, when you're looking at the time of possession that they use, Dallas has a lot of holes on defense. They have a lot of holes on the offense, but essentially, Micah Parsons is a guy that's going to give you that extra possession, if you will. He gets to the quarterback. He doesn't complain. And you got to think, in the history of the NFL for Dallas, they had a lot of different defenders that they've taken with overall picks, but I think Micah Parsons may be the best defensive one that they've taken. For just his effort and just what he's able to do, being able to backpedal, being able to get from the defensive line and actually cover in as a linebacker, being able to play different positions and fill in different roles, and he's skilled enough to where he can slide down into the defensive tackle spot and still do what he does. I think that Micah Parsons has put out a lot of different things for us to consume. I think his counter moves against some of the best offensive linemen are great. When you think of his battles against the 49ers, you think of his battles against certain teams, yes, he has to step up during those big games, but every other game he shows up. That's why Micah Parsons is number 3 at this list. Coming in number 2, there's no surprise, Pittsburgh Steelers, T.J. Watt. He has a nasty streak to him. He gets to the quarterback very profoundly, and you got to think, the only thing that's stopping him is injuries. He wants a new contract, so he's not in Pittsburgh right now doing training camp and stuff like that. But you got to think, without the Pittsburgh Steelers having him in the middle there, as far as a linebacker / defensive end, where are they? He pulls up and he does what he needs to do. He attacks the quarterback and makes that clock speed up for the quarterback and makes it difficult for them to make possessions with the wide receivers. But it's just one of those things where once he gets into the backfield one time, 2 times, he starts creeping 3 or 4 times, the quarterback can't focus. The quarterback can't really get it together. Seeing some of the games they played last season where he's in the backfield before the ball is thrown, that speed is dangerous. That speed is definitely dangerous. Coming off the edge, coming through the middle, and especially when he has Cam Hayward in the middle and he's following Cam Hayward directly to the quarterback, it's a scary sight to see for offenses. He keeps up defensive coordinators at night, and I think that he's a weapon for them on the Pittsburgh Steelers. At 30 years old, the only thing, again, that can beat him is himself. And coming to number 1, I think everybody knows they got this correctly, Myles Garrett. At 29 years old, has the body of a Greek god. He literally is controlling everything he wants to do. When you're thinking about his pay, he just got paid from the Cleveland Browns. I think he's going to be a Cleveland Brown for life. There's a short list of the defensive tackles and defensive ends that could really wreck a game. and he's it. You think about just what he's able to do in Cleveland and how he's able to toss, turn, move guys out the way, how he's been consistent since his rookie year. This has been a guy that's on the short list of Hall of Fame type talents, generational type talents. He's refined his game over the years and became a better tackler versus the run, and he sniffs out runs quickly. He sniffs out running backs quickly. RPO, he's in their laps. He's literally breaking up plays. He's literally pushing the piles, pushing the huddles to where they can't really get focused. They can't really get on the same page with the offense. I think that as good as a defensive player as he is, he doesn't get enough credit for what he does on the football field. And you got to think, everything from the batted passes down, everything to the bull rushing, everything to the swim moves, everything to the sacks, everything to the strip sacks, and the strip fumbles as well. So I think Myles Garrett is the best defensive edge rusher in the NFL. And a lot of these guys on this list I agree with. For the most part, you got some ones that could have been in the conversation for the same thing, but I think ESPN got it right for the most part. So what do you think about the ESPN top 10 2025 edge rusher list? Definitely check out Sports Choice Plus. We'll see you on the next episode.